I've never heard of doing an egg fast before until just a few months ago. I saw people in the carnivore community on X doing these egg fasts, and they were getting some interesting results. So I thought that I might give it a go, and I am getting some interesting results as well. Hi there, my name is Sue. Welcome to my channel. If you've not been here before, I've been eating a carnivore diet now for 3 years, and things have been going mostly really well. My health has improved massively. I have lost weight, but I still have some ongoing health issues, and I still have about 20 kilos that I need to lose. And so my weight loss has been a little bit slow and really bothering me. So now I'm on a real mission to get that happening. And I've realized that insulin resistance is the problem. And so I'm working on reversing that. I've been looking at different ways of doing this. And when I heard about this egg fasting, I thought I might give it a go, because that might be a good way, looking at the results that other people were getting, of actually helping this process along. This video is sponsored by partiQlar supplements. When it comes to supplements, quality and transparency are everything. And that's exactly where partiQlar stands out. Every product is third-party tested with certificates of analysis publicly available, so you can verify your bottle's purity and potency yourself. They're made in FDA-registered facilities in the USA, without fillers, artificial additives, or GMOs. partiQlar focuses on healthy aging with supplements such as NMN, resveratrol, and spermidine, while also supporting metabolic health, energy, and overall well-being. You can find the link to partiQlar below the video and use my code Carnivore15 for 15% off your order. So let's talk about what an egg fast actually is, because if you've not come across this concept before, you're going to be sitting there wondering. What an egg fast is that all you eat is eggs and butter, or some kind of fat. So the rules, the way people do this, is you can eat as many eggs as you want to throughout the day, and you can cook them however you want, and you can eat butter or other fat with them. Some people do 1 tablespoon of butter per egg. To me, that seems like too much for me. I don't think that my bowel would cope with that very well, and I think it might just be way too many calories for me. But I've been eating, I think the first day I had 15 eggs. Yesterday I had 12, and I just have some butter with them. So I loved poached eggs, and so poached eggs is mostly what I've been eating. And I'll do 5 or 6 eggs at a time and just put a chunk of butter on them. And so I've probably been eating between 100 and 120 grams of butter a day for the last 2 days. So the reason that I'm doing it, as I said, is to see if it helps with weight loss and to see what it does with my blood glucose and my ketones, because I've realized that they are key to reversing insulin resistance. You need to track your blood glucose and your ketones if you are struggling with weight loss due to insulin resistance. And as I've spoken about in recent videos, I suspect that I have probably been insulin resistant most of my life. And so to try and reverse this is going to potentially take some doing. And I've realized that the amount and the timing of eating my protein is pretty key to that. And so I've been changing things up over the last few weeks, and probably the last week or two prior to starting the egg fast, I had changed the amount of protein that I was eating and the timing, and that's making a difference with my blood glucose and my insulin, my blood glucose and my ketones, and my weight loss. What's been happening over the last 18 months at least is I keep regaining and losing the same weight, and I keep getting stuck at just over 90 kilos. And I'll get down there and then I go back up again by, 2, 3, 4 kilos. And then I lose those same kilos again, and then they go back up. So my number one goal right now is to bust through that 90 kilo mark and get back into the 80s. And so that's what I'm working on. And so why has it taken me so long to actually try this? The reason that I've been mulling it over and wasn't quite sure was because I'm not sure whether eggs actually agree with me, or egg whites perhaps. And I've been testing off and on since I've been on carnivore. I've had periods prior to carnivore where I couldn't eat eggs. Even when I was really young, I'd had phases where if I ate eggs, they would make me really sick, like physically, abdominal pain, feeling really bad, and I'd have to stop eating them for a few months, and then I could go back to eating them. And that's been happening off and on all my life. So that hasn't happened since I've been eating a carnivore diet. So I'm not sure whether eggs contribute to what still goes on with my bowel, the inflammation in my body, and that sort of thing. And so I had been testing them. I won't eat any for a while, and then I'll eat them again to see if they have an effect. And it's really hard to know because I've still got stuff going on with diarrhea every now and then. If I change things, I have oxalate dumping, which causes diarrhea. The diarrhea has been the biggest part of this whole thing for me, and histamine. And so sometimes I might be eating eggs and I might have them a few days in a row, and then next thing I've got diarrhea. And it's like, okay, so is that the eggs? Is it the oxalate? Is it histamine? I don't know. So I thought that another thing with doing this egg fast is if I was eating only eggs, then it might give me more of an insight as to whether they actually agree with me or not. So at the day 3 point where I am now, I'm still really none the wiser, because the first day of my egg fast, I had 6 poached eggs in the morning with some butter, and then I had lunch. I think I had more poached eggs or fried eggs, I can't really remember, but I was feeling a little bit weird. Before I had lunch, I was feeling like my blood glucose was too low, which I haven't felt like that for a long time. I was feeling really jittery. I had air hunger. I couldn't breathe properly, which I've had in the past with thyroid issues. And my headspace just wasn't great. But my headspace hadn't been great through the week. I had been trying a new supplement that wasn't agreeing with me. And so I'd stopped that a day or two before I started on the egg fast. But I think that was still having an effect. And so I just, by the time lunchtime came, I was feeling pretty down, trying to decide what to do with this whole egg fast thing, because I just wasn't feeling great and not breathing well and stuff. And then I had a bit of a meltdown, ended up in tears, and I hadn't been like that for quite a long time. But then after that happened, it didn't last long, I felt amazing. And I said to my husband, maybe I just needed a good cry. I don't know. And I've been feeling really good since. And so I had 3 meals that first day. I had my eggs for dinner. And then when I woke up yesterday morning, felt really good, had eggs for breakfast, ended up running to the toilet with diarrhea. And so I was like, so is this just a detox thing? Is it because I've changed what I'm eating? Is it the eggs? I don't know. So back and forth to the toilet a couple of times, pretty urgent. But once it was gone, and I felt great for the rest of the day. Felt really good. I wasn't hungry all day, so I didn't have any lunch. I had eggs again for dinner. Just had poached eggs again because I was like, am I doing eggs for dinner? Yeah, I am. Poached eggs for dinner. I had a fatty latte later on with just some butter and egg yolk. And then this morning woke up feeling good and had eggs for breakfast. Felt not too bad until I got into the sauna, and then I was trying to have a sauna and I had to leave the sauna 4 times to go to the toilet in about the first 10 or 15 minutes. But once it was over, it was over. There was nothing, and I'm feeling really good. So last night I was thinking that I was probably going to stop at that point and just have some meat for breakfast this morning. And so I had some chicken nibbles out and I had a plan, but I hadn't made up my mind. And when I started the egg fast, I thought maybe 2 or 3 days if I could do that, because I wasn't sure how my body was going to respond. And when I got up this morning, I was still unsure at that point whether I was having eggs for breakfast or meat. And then I looked at my blood glucose and my ketones, my fasting blood glucose and ketones, and the scales. So these are my results so far. I am down in 2 days about 900 grams. So I dropped 700 grams the first day and 200 today. And my blood glucose and my ketones have been fantastic. So yesterday, my glucose, I've got it here on my spreadsheet. I'll just find it. So my blood glucose yesterday morning was 4.4, my fasting glucose, which it has been over the few days prior. It's been around there with the changes that I'd made. And my ketones were 1.4. So I had tested the day before I started the egg fast and my ketones were 1.5. So about the same as has been. But yeah, I was pretty happy with that. So my GKI was 3.14 yesterday, which is pretty good. That's the glucose to ketone index, just in case you're wondering what that is. And so the therapeutic GKIs are down 3 to 5, and if you're under 3, that's really good, and under 1 is really, that's for like epilepsy. All right, this morning when I got up, as I said, I was down another 200 grams. I was hoping for a little bit more than that, but that's okay. My blood glucose was 3.9. Now, I haven't been there for quite a long time. I think the only times that I've been that low was when I was doing more extended fasting, when I was in the steak and butter gang and that sort of thing. It's been a while since my blood glucose has been that low, and I don't think my fasting glucose has ever been that low, first thing in the morning. So that's pretty good. And my ketones this morning were 2.6, so that gives me a GKI of 1.5. So when I saw that, I was like, okay, I'm sticking with this for now. I'll see how my body goes today. And I was really, very happy. So the fact that I'm down 900 grams in 2 days and I have a GKI today of 1.5, that's kind of got me sold. And I'm thinking that I may use this strategy going forward on a regular basis for a while, as long as my body seems to be okay with it. Now, am I sensitive to eggs? I don't know. I don't know. I eat them. They don't make me feel ill afterwards. I feel really good. It's just my bowel playing up for a period of time in the morning. I've got a bit of inflammation in my body, but I've had that for the last few weeks and I don't really know what's going on there. I've just got some aches and pains and stuff as an oxalate. I don't know what it is. So I don't think it's the eggs. I think it's just me right now. The other thing that happened this morning that made me think was that I managed to sit up in bed when I got up this morning without any vertigo. If you've been following me for a while, you know that I've had vertigo for years. Okay, so it started in 2008 when we had our business and I was under a lot of stress, and so I started getting vertigo then, and I've had it off and on for years. I've had vertigo sometimes when I've been upright over the years, but for me most of the time it happens when I lie down. So if I go to bed at night time, lie down, the vertigo will kick in, and when I get up in the morning, upright again. So it's to do with position most of the time for me. Now, it had gone away. When I first started on Carnivore, it was off and on, and then it eventually went away, and it's been gone for quite a long time. But it came back in February. We'd gone away camping, and it started again while we were away. It's not as bad. I've had vertigo in the past where I'm hanging onto the bed because it feels like I'm going to fall off the world, and it's not like that. But it's just when I lie down, if I turn my head to the left, it just gives a sway like that kind of thing, and then just settles. And when I get up in the morning, I get up and it's just a little bit of a waver. If I was to jump out of bed, I wouldn't be able to do that because I'd probably fall over. So I sit on the edge of the bed just for a few seconds, and it just settles, and then I can get up and get on with my day. This morning, so it was there last night when I went to bed, but this morning when I sat up, there was no vertigo. So I'm picking that may be something to do with the ketones. And I'm wondering if that's why the vertigo came back a little bit, because my blood glucose and my ketones haven't been as good as they were earlier in the piece, I think, for a while when I was really focusing on more fasting and stuff. So I'm wondering if that's the problem and why it's come back. So it'll be interesting over the next few days to see if the vertigo actually settles down completely. How long am I going to stick with my egg fast? I don't know. When I started, I thought, maybe 2 or 3 days, but I'll see how my body responds. If my bowel really plays up, then I will stop. But as I said, I'm on day 3 and I'm pretty happy with what's going on. So I may stick with it for another day or 2. I'll just see how I feel. I think 5 days is probably the longest I'd go, maybe, at this point. But yeah, I'll see what happens. And then I'm wondering how things will go when I stop, because as I said, prior to my egg fast, I had switched up the way I was eating, and I've been eating my protein first thing in the morning, under 100 grams of protein, and then only eating fat later in the day. So I will quite often just have a fatty latte with some egg yolk and butter, hot drink, blitz up, that sort of thing in the evening, and that's what I've been doing. And so that had made a big difference to my fasting glucose in the morning and my ketones even prior to the egg fast. It'll be interesting to see how that all pans out as well. So I will do another update once I've finished, and I'll let you know what happened. The egg fasting is something that I think that I could do on a reasonably regular basis and get some good results, even if my other strategy begins to fail at some point. We will see. So have you ever done an egg fast? Have you had results? I'd really love to know if you've done any. Pop your comments or questions below the video and I'll get to them as soon as I can. If you like this video, make sure to subscribe and like and share with anyone you think might be interested. I thank you very much for watching, and I will talk to you again another day. Goodbye for now.